What's up, man? Doing this lunar return chart for my buddy Ryan. So, when you do a lunar return chart, you're going to start with your natal birth chart. So, lunar returns is just basically a monthly overview. It gives you an idea how your month's going to go. So, when you're looking for lunar return, you're going to go to the moon. So, the moon in the natal birth chart is 0 degree, 29 minute of Gemini. So we're going to go look in the chart when the moon is in that exact position. And then we're going to go up over yonder to this chart. There's one moving right, y'all. This is the today chart. And your lunar return was on October 3rd, 2023. And I calculated it at 1:54 a.m. And you see, I'll zoom in right there. That's what I'm looking at. 0 degree, 29 minute, which matches the natal birth chart, 0 degree, 0 degree, 29 minute. So once we figure that out, then we kind of just start looking at it as a natal chart for this all in itself. I really don't compare it a whole bunch to your birth chart. I'm not really looking at it as a transit chart. What I will do is go back and calculate the transit chart using your ascendant, using a normal daily transit chart, which I'll show you how to do later in the video. So when it comes to the monthly lunar return, again, October 3rd, 1:54 a.m. I like doing it by hand because when I say doing it by hand, it means I go back to the original page and I bounce around with the minute until I find the exact time that it's right there. And I don't know why, I just like doing it that way. So that's how I do it. So when we get into this chart, we start looking at, first off, the ascendant is Cancer. And then I haven't taken a whole bunch of time. First thing I see is this Mars opposite the node. That's an interesting one. As you can see, what I should have done was taken some time before I got the video going to look at this chart. But this is a lot of aspects. You see how in your natal birth chart there really is only a handful of them? There's a lot of scattered energies going on for your lunar return. So it's going to be a kind of crazy month ahead from October 3rd until your next one. And I'll calculate that later in the video. So as for this one, because this is a water sign, I'm going to go to the condition of the moon first. So if this were the fire sign, I would have gone to the sun first. But I'm going to go to the moon first, and I'm going to go look how it's doing. So I'll get a little zoom in on that. You got the moon is really close to the planet Uranus. It's separating conjunction. That's 8 degrees of separation. I don't consider that super close. So that right there is the point for our moon, and that right there will be our point for Uranus. So when we look at aspects coming to the moon, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's a lot. That's a lot of energy from the moon. Each one of those lines would be about a 2-paragraph explanation. So I'm not going to go over all 2 paragraphs of that. But when you asked your question about your incident at work during this span, I'd be curious to see what day it happened, and then calculate a transit chart for that. Because as you can see, during this month, you got Saturn in the 8th house, and it's being poorly aspected by the moon, which is in turn being poorly aspected by Venus. And you got Mercury. Mercury's got a good aspect going. That's a trine. I'm going to zoom in some more. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 aspects. And then we're going to have this aspect, this trine from Pluto. That's going to intensify everything. That trine right there, all by itself, really doesn't do much. Maybe give you some weird dreams, some fatigue for whatever. Because the moon has a bunch of other aspects to it. The Pluto influence, which it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 aspects to it. The Pluto influence on the moon is going to intensify everything, like throwing gasoline on the fire. And if you don't know what that's like, then go start a fire and throw some gasoline on it. You'll know what I'm talking about. So the next aspect we're going to we'll look at this other trine going to Mercury. Mercury in 26th degree of Virgo. That would be a 4-degree separating aspect. Wouldn't consider that extremely potent. 4 degrees applying is more potent than 4 degrees separating. It's like the aftershocks of an earthquake, or like the ripples when you throw a rock into the water. The original shockwave is usually more potent than the other. So what I notice is also this square between Venus. The square is usually bad, man. It really is. I don't care what other astrologers say, good aspects, bad aspects. It's a bad aspect. It usually means something intensified by Pluto is going to cause a lot of emotional strife and turbulence. Again, that's a 2-paragraph explanation right there. I'm not really going to go through. What I am going to do is I'm going to go show you how to calculate. This is how you calculate a transit chart for the lunar return, which is pretty much just like calculating a transit chart for your natal birth chart. So in the natal birth chart, I would be looking for this point right here. So again, I'm going to wiggle this chart. This is a chart I'm dealing with now. In the natal birth chart, I would be looking for, when I set up a transit chart, you'd be looking for this Aquarius degree right here. Instead, I'll switch charts to show you this one right here. I'm going to be looking for that Cancer degree when I set up my transit chart. So we're going to go, let's go for October. Today is the 15th, so let's go October 20th, just for fun, 4 days out. 2023. Cancer gonna be rising, and I'm gonna say 1. I'm gonna go with 2. I'm trying to do math in my head, and I'm all stoned right now, so it's not working. 2:15 a.m. Again, I'm looking for that point right there. Up a little early. I have to go. I went the wrong direction. Should have gone 1:15 instead of 2:15. All right. $12. Fide. what I'm looking for. I understand you may not be living in Louisville, but I set up the chart for that. 150, so we got 1250. Now we are looking at the transit chart for this lunar return chart. So on October 20th, I see this hoopty ha right here, the conjunction of Mercury and the Sun. Now, every time I see that, I refer back to Nostradamus, who said that the conjunction of Mercury and the Sun is second in potency next to an eclipse. So I'm always looking at that. And plus, it's going to be on the nodal axis. Again, I'm looking at this chart right here. It's going to be on the nodal axis, which leads me to believe that on October 20th, this lunar return chart is really going to activate itself. Now let's go look at the condition of the moon. Oh, and good thing. Now, you see how the moon has a bunch of good aspects to it? That means you could have a good conversation about your incident at work. So if you're having problems with that, again, we're going to have good aspects towards Saturn in the 8th house for that lunar return. Interesting. That's yeah. Well, I just had a stoner thought that, butterfly just flew through my head. So this, now that I see it, I think if you're not doing your writing, you're going to start writing more. You're gonna finally kick it in gear, and I think you're gonna come up with a really good idea for a short story. And if you're not doing short stories yet, maybe you should consider doing short stories. And that's going to be on October 20th of this month. And then I'll go back. I'll just do another quick lunar return leading up to the next. So right now on October 20th, the moon's going to be in Capricorn. So I'm going to go to November 1st. See where it is. November. Actually, I'm going to go to the 3rd. See where it is on the 3rd. Again, on this, I'm looking for 0 degree, 29th minute, and I'm not paying attention to what the ascendant is. That right there is what I'm looking at. So I'm going to go back. Previous day. Oh, I need to go to 0 degree. I'm going to go to October 31st. I'm way off. Halloween, you may be having a lunar return for Halloween, Ryan. Ooh, day before. You see how long it's taken me to do this? I like doing it this way just because. And I'm actually going to switch this to PM. See 0 degree, 29. Nope. I'm going AM. 11. This is the kind of boring part. Whereas, 024. I'll go 11:55. 27. It's going to be right at noon. Shoot. C0 30. I gotta make it say 29. Gotta make it say 29. 7. Ah, shoot. I need to go to AM. All right. We got 029. So your next lunar return is going to be on October 30th, the day before. Maybe indicate you're traveling somewhere for Halloween. If you're going to go somewhere thinking about going on one of your vacation type things on Halloween, then that's a total good idea. Yeah, Venus in that ninth house, opposite Neptune. Yeah, you see how there aren't as many, because this is the lunar return chart for October 3rd, and this is October 30th. You see how there aren't nearly as many aspects between the planets on this day than there are in this day? That means the month from October 30th until the next one is going to be a lot calmer than this one right here. This one right here means a lot of scattered energies. So there's your lunar return. Yeah, Mercury and Mars conjunction right there. I could make a whole bunch of other videos and reports on that, but I'm just going to go ahead and end it here because I'm kind of stoned. So I hope you enjoyed this, Ryan, buddy. Maybe make a bunch of sense. Maybe not make a bunch of sense, but maybe teach you how to calculate your own lunar returns, and we can discuss this more. We can discuss this more when on Facebook or whatever. So peace out in the hood, buddy. I can go watch some football and take a bong hit.